Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 12th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you got that lasagna on the Monday. Hopefully, today was very Garfield for you as well. Like I said, day's been solid. I really don't have any complaints. I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good mental place. Physically feel all right. I feel fat, but it's one of those days where you just feel fat. That happens, right? Very human, but overall, I'm good. I'm good. Let's see here. Let's do a recap of some things. Let me yap a bit. So, like right after the last episode, I went to go turn on my fan. It hasn't been as hot past like 24, 48 hours, which is nice, especially getting into what I'm about to get into. Because I literally go to turn on my fan, and it's just making this like this bad sputtering noise. And it just like isn't quite getting there. It sounds like it's skidding across something, and I can't tell what it is. And then I look at it, and it looks like the blades are maybe crooked. And upon further inspection, I realize like, no, the fan is somehow broken. Like the little shell that it's oscillating within is broke. The stand. I'm like, oh, okay, it's kaput. So then I immediately I don't want to say freak out, but assess my situation because my fat ass is going to be sweating for how long? That's what I'm thinking. And so I calm down because I realize like, hey, we're in August. It does feel like it's getting cooler. I do have this fan. I have a backup fan is what I'm saying. I have two fans that run in my room usually. So I'm like, okay, just move this fan over here. And then I do have my crappy AC unit in my room. I feel like I can just get through the rest of this summer. And fingers crossed, knock on some wood, that's what's going to happen, right? Because I don't want to go hunting for a fan. Especially yesterday, I was like, I'm not in the mood for all that. I'm supposed to be chilling at home for the rest of this. I'm going to go on my walk. So I feel like the plan's going to be fine there. I feel like we're solid. Let's see here. Other stuff I wanted to talk about that I did. A little bit of TV corner, a little bit of TV time. I started the latest season of Umbrella Academy. I believe it's the last season. So far, it's good. I'm on like episode 2. Or I'm technically on episode 3. I just got through the second episode. I am enjoying it though. I think it's good. Obviously, I'm not going to be spoiling anything or talking about it too deep. But I'm like, hey, as an Umbrella Academy enjoyer, I'm here for it. I will say, I don't know. I think the first 2 seasons were my favorite. Probably maybe the second was kind of my favorite because I just like really started to like love all the characters, and then I didn't like where they were going after that kind of. But I will say I'm just here for the ride. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I like some new characters they've introduced, and I love this duo because I've seen them in other TV stuff, and I'm like, this is fun. So I'm enjoying that. And then I also finished up a season of Hell's Kitchen. Not the most recent. I think it's like the season before that one. So that was nice to finally do. And I started MasterChef. So yeah, I'm getting in my reality TV. That's cool. That's fun, And I really only do this when I can't, like, I get bored of my live streams, which is pretty rare. But like sometimes it's just dead. Like there's no one I like on. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just watch like real TV, like a normal person. And that's fun. That's fun to do. Let's see here. Let's get to the food corner. I feel like I haven't talked about my food corner yet. Some other stuff kind of got in the way there. Let's see. I made a pepperoni pizza at home. I got the ideal compliment of like, where'd you get that from? And I'm like, I made it. So that felt good. That was nice. Nice for me. But yeah, I definitely I tried to go like as edge to edge as I could with the pepperonis. That was nice. I will say a thing I fucked up on, I was a little self-conscious about, was I cooked it a little too long. A little too crispy. Bake was a little too hard. Now, I will say I kind of like that. I'm definitely not anti that. But, like, I don't like looking at my pizza and it being burnt. Luckily, it was, like, kind of more on one half than the other. My broke-ass oven probably does not cook evenly. Makes sense. So, one half was a little bit better than the other half, at least in terms of, like, the crust. But overall, I enjoyed the whole pizza. I've done it before. I'll do it again. So yeah, there we go. I feel like we're all caught up. That's all my Joneses. That's what I really wanted to yap about. I feel like we're good there now. Let's go ahead and do a startup, and we'll get into some news. Hopefully we'll try to rip through this. If it loads up for me, maybe. Here we go. Okay, oh, love that. All right. Start off with some breaking news from CNN. Magnitude 4.4 earthquake shakes Los Angeles. All right. A magnitude 4.4 earthquake occurred in Los Angeles at 12:20 p.m. PT, according to U.S. Geological Survey. The notable quake had an initial reported intensity of 4.7, but has since been revised down to 4.4. The shallow quake was only 7.5 miles deep and directly under the populated areas of Los Angeles. So was likely felt widely despite the relatively modest intensity. So that's probably why, making a little bit more rounds. I know earthquakes happen kind of all the time, but I feel like if they're probably like 3 or under, they really don't get talked about usually. But I know we had covered it in Japan. Also, I still think it's weird that Japan, at least from what I had read, maybe I'm wrong there, but that they try to top theirs out at 7. But normally I feel like it goes to 10. So I feel like definitely in this situation that does feel like it's much different, right? So 4.4, it's definitely notable. It's an earthquake. People definitely noticed it, felt it. Excuse me. But yeah, it's not on something of a 7 or higher. That's crazy big. You know what I mean? We've covered some 8s and stuff like that. That's definitely major duty, major. Not to denote that a 7 is bad. I just think any kind of changing of the scale seems weird to me. I don't know. Call me weird. Maybe I'm dumb and wrong, and I'm just misinterpreting things too. If you are an earthquake enthusiast or expert, please sound off in those comments for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and move along. That's pretty late. I feel like we're kind of getting into the next 2 stories are kind of older news. This is kind of about a week old, but I was like, fuck it, let's talk about it. The other story I'm going to get into is about a week and a half or older. So, a little geriatric in the news cycle. But hey, I made time today. So the first story from Sky News. Cocaine worth $1 million washes up on Florida beach after storm. More than $1 million of cocaine has washed up on a beach in Florida Keys during the recent storm Debbie. I believe Debbie has wound down in terms of an update there. I know, sadly, more lives were lost. This is offhand. I know someone died. I think they were trying to, drive through, an expanse of water. I'm using the wrong words here. Sorry. But essentially, it was just more water than they expected, and they wound up getting, swept up in it. So that's obviously very unfortunate. And there might have been more reported deaths or injuries, but that's just one I knew about. So that's obviously sad. That's unfortunate. But I believe the storm has wound down as of today, or at least, as I'm reporting it today. Let's see, but there might be, I think there's more storms brewing in some other places, so you never know. There might be some more weather coverage in the near future. But the U.S. Border Patrol said a Good Samaritan found the packages containing 32 kilograms or 79 pounds of the drug and contacted authorities. Border Patrol has not revealed the exact location of the package, but shared photos of the taped-up packages, featuring a red triangle on the label. To me, it's like a triangle, but it's definitely got a symbol. It almost looks like got little legs and arms. But then if you kind of looked at it real quick, it almost looks like a thing that's on the Ouija board, a little bit like that, or like a boomerang. I don't know. It kind of looks like that. I'm Rorschaching this a little bit, but anyway. The person who found the package, a beachgoer, discovered it wrapped up inside a bin bag among seaweed, leaves, and other debris. Storm Debbie made landfall in the U.S. Category 1 hurricane on Monday morning, with winds topping 80 miles per hour. This is actually last week. So, drugs freely wash up on southern Florida beaches and surrounding waters as smugglers traffic the substances from South America to the U.S. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe this was just kind of sinking, hanging out, and it just got brought up ashore because of the hurricane specifically. Maybe it was just inevitable and this just like kind of fast tracked that. Who knows? But, not too crazy of news when you really think about it. And I don't know about you. Let me run this by y'all. Do you think nowadays is $1 million a lot of money to you? I mean, to my broke ass, yes. If I woke up and there was $1 million in my bank account, I'd be like, God damn, I'm rich. I would like do the fucking hat thing where you like throw your hat on the ground, like wow, woo-wee. I would heel click it, all that shit. But like in the scheme of things, when I'm talking about like doing a project or doing things that like anything, even at like a city type level, I stop thinking about $1 million as like a big number. Or even when we're talking like lawsuits, I go, oh, that's not a lot of money, because there's a lot of trickle down. There's a lot of things that this money gets eaten up by, and it's not that much when you actually think about it. And just the value of a fucking dollar these days, like in such an inflated world, I just don't feel like $1 million is that much money. So, I mean, yeah, like you see the spread of all these drug packages, right? And you go, oh, but it just feels like, once again, like, oh, look at the pile of weed. Like, I mean, cool that you found this, but like, is that really that big of a deal? Like, once again, what is the value of $1 million to you these days? I guess is what I'm kind of circling around here, what I'm thinking about, what I'm pondering. But anyway, let's move on to our other old news story. Let's talk about another old man, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., like I said, this story has made the rounds and died, really. I kind of wanted to drag it and not talk about it, but once again, I just realized I had fucking time. So we can go ahead and talk about this motherfucker. I'm sorry, I'm not a big RFK Jr. fan. Like, maybe I'm probably biased, but like, I don't know. He's just a stinky dude to me. Like, ever since I heard all his lame ass conspiracy theories and shit, I'm like, bro, this shit has no weight. They're very racially charged. Like, I don't like any of this shit you're fucking saying, dog. Like, you're not for the people, even though you keep saying you are. I don't care how much Joe Rogan wants to suck you off in an episode. That doesn't appeal to me. That don't impress me much. Okay, to quote a great Shania Twain, I'm sorry. But anyway, let's talk about this man and this bear. From NPR. Opinion. RFK Jr.'s Central Park bear BBQ stunt. I will say I appreciate NPR for not having that much, putting a guy on this who doesn't seem to have that much of an opinion on it. He more or less just doesn't seem that impressed by it, and I agree. It's very weird. But let me go ahead and read the initial, and then I'll kind of just start riffing. And in an election season rife with surprises, you might add this week's revelation by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the independent candidate for president, says that 10 years ago, he picked up the carcass of a dead bear cub along a country highway and later snuck it into New York Central Park to make it look like the bear had been hit by a bicyclist. Now, I believe he posted this on Twitter and said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get ahead of this story and just tell it now, and essentially like, proceeds to get into like what happened here. And he ends like this revelation with like, yeah, now let's see the New Yorker try to spin this. And it's like, and the New Yorker's response is to like, okay, we'll just tell your story and then say, wow, that's really weird that he did that. And then like says, hey, New Yorker, spin that. like they literally, it's just like it's like he handed them a story. And maybe there was a leak or something, and he knew that the story was gonna come out or something like that. So he's like, all right, prank's over. Because essentially what happened here is he was going falconing with his like rich New York buddies or whatever the fuck, and he winds up like hitting a bear or something. And he takes some like weird pictures of it. I have it in the thumbnail, though I crop a good chunk of it out because I don't want it to like get in any fucking trouble. Okay, and I'm not trying to do nothing bad. Okay, but essentially it's his hand in the bear's mouth, and like there's like it's like a bloody mouth, and like the bear looks fucked up. And he's like, it looks like he's getting fucked up. And I guess he thought that was really fucking funny. And it's like, all right, cool. But he wanted to like use the bear for bear meat. He wanted to get it tagged. Like you have to go through all these like fucking protocols. And in his head, he's like, all right, I'm going to go falconing. I'm going to go get this all done up. In the meantime, I'm going to have this bear cub sit in my fucking trunk. So it's like, all right, okay, cool. But then he also realizes, oh shit, I got like a steak dinner thing I gotta go do. So then he goes and does that fucking shit. And then he's like, oh fuck, I gotta leave. So, what are we gonna do about this fucking bear? Because I can't do all the shit I was gonna do, and I gotta get rid of it. I don't want it to sit in my fucking trunk. Ew, gross, brother, ew. So essentially him and his drunk buddies, who he says, hey, I wasn't drunk, by the way, but they, my drunk buddies, kind of helped me come up with an idea, and they thought it'd be so funny if we drop off the bear cub, this dead bear cub, in Central Park and make it look like a funny little prank. Wouldn't that be so funny? And sure enough, people report on this and they're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. This is like a weird CSI story. It doesn't, like, this bear should not be here. Plus, it's like, okay, it does maybe look like a cyclist hit it, but like, that just doesn't actually add up when you look at what's happening here, like actual evidence, forensic evidence or whatever. Like, no, it doesn't take a CSI guy to really deduce that that didn't happen. And I guess him and his rich buddies were just yucking it up for 10 years. And then he just decided to say, hey, I don't want any more October surprises. Despite the fact that this man has, like, I think multiple sexual assault allegations. And he just goes, oh, that's just boys being boy stuff, actually. Him getting ahead of that shit. But he's like, okay, you know, joke's over, I guess. Here's what happens. Spin this. Like, no, dude, I think you're just a weird guy. And then I think he also makes a worm joke at some point in all of this revelation. And it's like, yeah, man, I think the brain worm is still a problem, bro. I know it's dead in there and everything, but I think it's still an issue because, or maybe it's just bad staffing. Maybe there's just some stupid guy on the team that's like, bro, you know what you need to do? I mean, you've told us the story. We know it's coming out. Maybe what you need to do, get ahead of this shit. Just fucking move it. Make that move. Ha ha ha. Actually, joke's on you. And it's like, dog, this isn't 8 Mile. It's not gonna work like that. I don't know, but so yeah, that's the story. I really don't like talking about JFK at this point. He's such a fucking loser to me. Like, there's no shot in hell he's winning. I think even he knows it. Like, I think, like, I've heard more from the whole Donald Trump phone conversation leak that, like, it's rumored even that, like, he was maybe even trying to, like, get, like, a cabinet spot or something to just try to make this shit more worth his while, right? If he's gonna, like, bow out and, like, you know, actually endorse Donald Trump. But even Donald Trump's like, I don't even need to give you that. That's not even worth my fucking time. If that even happened. Allegedly. Whatever. So, you know, this is me talking about it. We'll call it coverage. Why not? And let's go ahead and move on to our last story. How about that? How's that sound? We gotta talk about some hot crime. But yeah, let me go ahead and take my last break and we'll go ahead and get into it. That hit the spot. Yes, sirree. All right. From The Guardian. Chicago woman gets 9-year sentence for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings. A school district official in Chicago was given a 9-year jail sentence after pleading guilty to stealing a staggering $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. Vera Liddell, the food service director for Harvey School District 152, near Chicago, stole the huge amount of fast food during the pandemic and its aftermath, when the wings were meant for children doing remote learning, but who were still picking up school meals. Local TV station WGN reported. In total, Liddell, 68 years old, ordered more than 11,000 cases of wings from the school district's food provider and then picked up the order herself in a district cargo van. Legal papers filed as part of the case called the scheme a massive fraud. The scheme lasted from July of 2020 until February 2022. The theft was uncovered during a routine audit when it was found the annual food service costs were $300,000 over budget, only halfway through the school year, WGN said. So, I gotta say, this would have been an amazing, perfect caper, a grade A level, S tier even heist, if and only if The victim was not school kids in need, especially during the fucking pandemic. What the fuck? Like, goddamn, no, I have to send her to Tomato Town. I'm sorry, Miss Liddell. You gotta go. You just got to go. Because that's fucked up, man. Like, that's the people's wings. And you took the people's wings and you squandered them for themselves. Like, for yourself. Like, you are the chicken wing burglar. That's crazy. That's a crazy place to be in the 2020s. Like, no, don't be that person. But then this made me think about the Hamburglar's ethos, and it made me wonder, does the Hamburglar only steal the burgers for himself, or does he flip the burgers for profit? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he's a hoarder? Do you think he takes it all and he's just eating them all like the Cookie Monster probably would? Or do you think the Hamburglar is getting hamburgers and then selling those hamburgers to the people, like black market style? Because that's what I'm thinking Liddell was probably on, right? Like, there's no way that she's taking all these wings for herself, right? But, I mean, I imagine they'd fetch a pretty penny. Technically, it's worth $1.5 million, right? So, but who do you sell that to? Who's the fence that you sell those wings to? So let me know. Same with the burgers. Who would the Hamburglar sell it to if you believe he was doing it for profit and not for himself? Because think about it. If the Hamburglar was eating all those hamburgers he was stealing, either he's a terrible Hamburglar and not worth his name, or he would be the most obese man. And look at that man. It's not the stripes. He looks pretty thin. He looks fine. So, I know, I'm going way too deep on the Hamburglar, especially when there's real people stealing hot wings from kids. But, I don't know. That's just where my head's at. That's just where we're at with the newsstand. And these are the questions I want answered, okay? You're not going to hear that shit on any other podcast, but here, okay? So, that's what you're getting. So, anyway, that's where I'll leave it. Thanks so much for just hearing me and listening to me ramble about all this shit. I probably should just be putting on some kind of tinfoil hat or something and being a crazy person, but who knows? I appreciate you putting up with me. If you'd like to take your support to the next level, you can. You become a newsy today. Patreon.com/ZanNews. Your support will net you a shout out once a month, and then I play a project if you'd like me to, or if you just want to be a silent donator, that's a thing. I do have some silent whales, and I appreciate you. I use the term whale in a respectful way. I ride you like Free Willy. You take me to a better place. You make me a better person. I rock a necklace, and it's in commemoration of you. So yeah, thank you for that. But 3 ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Let's see here. Any of the socials, feel free to find me. You can follow me or, do that, whatever it is, respectively, whatever. Let's see. Other free ways to help out, YouTube, subscriptions. That helps. Hit that subscription button. Leave a like. Sharing is caring. Leave a comment. All that good stuff. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.